So I think the very first question that we just want to look at is kind of partly why we're all here, which is how has COVID-19 impacted the importance of employer branding? And Ryan, I'd love to have you get us started there.
Yeah, for Instacart specifically, COVID-19 has had, as you can imagine, a pretty large impact on Instacart as a brand, but especially our employer brand. So I focus on our full-time hiring and our full-time employees. And so there's other areas of the business that focus on the other populations that we have of our workforce. But for me, it's a matter of staying really tight with corporate comms, with consumer comms, with retailer comms, shopper comms, everyone in comms. I'm BFFs with comms, and then working to translate that for recruiting and just keeping our message tight and in lockstep. We're serving as a PSA right now for a lot of our what we're talking about externally, especially on LinkedIn, what we're doing, why we're doing it, what we're building, how we're building it, and then making sure that recruiting just knows every step of the way. Be that with, recruiter training. We roll out new decks and presentation to messaging via Lessonly, which is our new learning and development platform, and just making sure that they stay informed of what we can and can't say externally. So that's probably the biggest shift for us, is just that really deep integration, lockstep with recruiting right now.
Yeah, that's great. Tony, at Brother, what has the relationship with comms been like for you?
So I work very well with our corporate communications department at Brother. It's a team of one person. But since very early on the start of, the pandemic, it became very, very apparent that we needed to work closer together, not just between corporate comms and the employer branding function, but also all of the different communications related functions throughout Brother. So whether it's email marketing, whether it's social media marketing, we all began meeting every day at the start of the pandemic, daily huddle calls to talk about what everybody's doing so that we're not stepping on anyone's toes and that we're aligned in the messages that we're delivering externally, which have increased exponentially since the start of the pandemic. So it's been great working together with everybody, and I'm really happy that we're all able to sort of come together and align and making sure that we're all taking the same steps forward together.
Yeah, wonderful. I think, one thing, and Heidi being at Glassdoor, I'd love to hear your point on this as well. I think one thing we've really seen through this time is that there is just a desire for communications. People want to know what's going on at these companies, what's going on with their employees, what their plans are in place. And so obviously, almost oversharing seems to be a great strategy right now because people really want to know what's happening.
It's been really a decade since the last recession, and, the U.S. is kind of seeing the first downturn that there's been, and there's never been more opportunity for candidates and employees to share their experiences on social media. So employer branding is really crucial right now because job seekers are really going to remember which employees really rose to the occasion and how a company managed through this crisis, how they led their people through it is going to have a real direct impact on its reputation. And those that have really stuck to their employer brand, leaned in, they're going to have a real clear advantage once we come out on the other side of this.
Yeah, that's a great point. JD, what has this been like for you at Raising Cane's?
We are considered an essential business, so we've remained open, but we've had to dramatically change our operations. Our focus from how we administer our culture, how we relate to our candidates and our employer brand has always been a people first culture, and focused on entering this pandemic with a no crew member left behind strategy where, keeping everybody employed, no furloughs, no layoffs. And we're actually able to come out of this, or we're emerging from this now with meeting that goal, not having laid anybody off, no furloughs. In fact, we've actually been pretty aggressively hiring and maintaining consistent messaging with our candidates and influencers about, our message about keeping everybody safe and continuing to serve our customers and our communities.